What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of our Penn State Return to Primetime Dynasty. This is our week 5 bye week. After coming off that huge win over Kent State, we turn our attention to our next week matchup against Indiana. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at our good old recruiting as we're taking a look at some of the people that we need and getting some of the people that we need for a visit. Really don't like the recruiting in this game. It is really crappy. And I just don't think that it's not as personal as last years or the years before that. So I just don't think it's as good as it has been in the past couple of years. So, but we're just, in this episode, we're just gonna kind of look at a little bit of recruiting, see what's kind of going on around our recruiting board. And then we're going to take a look at like what our remaining schedule is like and what some of the stuff is happening around the league. It will be about a 9-minute and 5-second video, I believe. Maybe not, maybe 9.5 at that. I don't know. We'll see how long it gets to. But so again, recruiting in this game is okay. It's not as good as I would like it to be, but I just don't think it is really decent. We're also going to take a look at our good old coaching skill trees as well, as that Kent State game was pretty awesome. Daniel had a huge game. Herman Daniel, great game indeed. James Castle has 2 available upgrades. We're going to go ahead and give our kicker one of the upgrades so that he doesn't get as frozen as much, since we seem to be coming down to field goals. At least that's what it feels like. And I think we're going to go ahead and get the one that allows us to see the matchups in the way of the possible coaching coaches cam, the pre-play coaches cam. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and pick that as well. So we're at level 5, and we're looking at our defensive coordinator, Austin Neal. We're going to give our defense the block shedding or shredding tactics. That way they can get off their blocks a lot faster. And I believe we're going to give our offensive coordinator, Rob Rice, the good old up-tempo upgrade as well. So we're level 5. James Castle's level 5. Our defensive and offensive coordinators are both level 2. Those seem to go a little bit slower, and it seems like over the years that I've played, like on my other dynasties, usually those guys will leave, and then we usually get better people in their spots. So I don't know. We'll see what happens at the end of this season. As we're taking a look at our schedule coming up here in a second, as we switch over to us. So we had Syracuse, Eastern Michigan, UCF, Kent State. We're on our bye week in week 5. Week 6, we head into Indiana. Then week 7, we come back home to face the 3-0 Wolverines in Michigan. I believe we're ranked 31st in the nation, so we're about to crack the top 25. But Michigan. Then we have a bye week. Then we go into Ohio State. Then we go back home for Illinois, at Minnesota, back home for Purdue, back home for Nebraska, and then we go into Wisconsin, and then we have our bye week before the championship game. But week 7 and 9 will probably be our toughest tests. I think the Nebraska game will be pretty tough. Same with the Wisconsin game, but that's like the 3 weeks of hell right there, honestly, because we come off a game against Michigan, and then we go right into the then we go to a bye week. Then we go into the Ohio State game. As you can see, they're pretty much killing everybody. But we have the number 1 points leading right now, and we have the number 2 defense in the leagues or in the nation. So they're not doing too well in the way of defense, but their actual way of getting their turnovers has really stepped up. But as we can see, hopefully we can come away with those wins. I don't know how it's really going to progress for us. They've really played nobody, honestly. They've played 2 FCS teams, San Diego State and Buffalo. So Ohio State's just like they are in real life. They don't really do anything until late in the year in the way of playing conference people. So we'll go ahead and take a look at, I believe, championship contenders, as we see that we are ranked 31st right now in the nation, hopefully going to crack the top 25 at some point. There are so many 5-0 teams or 4-0 teams right now in the NCAA that's really hard for us to get a leg up on our competition. Let's look at the stats. We're going to go to season stats, I believe, for everybody. As we can see, Steve Jacobs has 719 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, with 179 yards per game, 77% completion with a 14.6 completion rate on average gain. 49 for 63, that's not bad at all. Look at rushing. Roberts is 582 with 3 touchdowns, and Randall has 206 and 4 touchdowns. Roberts has almost rushed the ball, attempted to rush the ball 100 times already, so been big. Daniel has 5 touchdowns, which he got in that one game. Bill Morris has 4. Bowen has 2, and Roberts has 3 receiving. Haven't really given up a lot of sacks, only 3 sacks on the entire year. Fowler has 2 sacks. Jones has 2 sacks. Capps has 3 interceptions. He got an interception in every single game except for week 4. Burns has an interception. So our defense is actually doing really, really well. 46-yard. We're perfect from kicking field goals from the standpoint that, perfect on field goals. So we're doing something right. We're doing good. We're actually a solid team. I'm surprised whenever I went into this Return to Primetime Dynasty with Penn State. I was kind of hesitant whenever I was looking at the roster before getting into the games. I was kind of worried of where it's going to actually kind of go, like kind of wary of what would happen. But it's actually turned out pretty well. But as we kind of go into the Big Ten play, it will be interesting to see how we react to going into hostile environments, especially in Ohio State and going into Indiana, because Indiana I don't think is really that far away from us in the way of ranking. So in the way of like being good or being bad. So we'll see. I think the next game against Indiana will probably be pretty good. Week 6, we're basically halfway through the season at this point. Even though there's 15 weeks, you only play 12 games. And we've played 4. So if we can win, I believe if we can win 4 more games, and if we lose 4, we can still probably get into a bowl game, unless the bowl ban is actually on Penn State in the game, which I don't know if it is or not, because if it is, that's really going to suck, because that kind of defeats the purpose of the thing. But I don't think they put the bowl bans inside the actual game itself. But conference play opens up, Nittany Lions versus the Hoosiers, and we'll take a look. Herb Street has us over them. They have a better offense than we do, but we have the most points per game. They have the better turnover differential, which I don't know how with -3. They're actually technically behind us. The passing defense is number 10 in the nation. We have the number 1 defense period in the nation at this point after advancing from week 5 to week 6. As you can see, just kind of looking at what they've done, they've lost 1, so they were probably 2-1 and they just lost 1. So they're on a losing streak. So we'll see what happens as looks like their quarterback went down with an injury last week. He'll be out for another week. As we take a look at us, we've won 4 straight. Of course, we have an average attendance of 106,000. Wow, that's a lot of people. Our last conference championship was 2008. So hopefully we can get another one this year. As you can see, they had a big game against Mizzou and beat an SEC opponent 34-31 in OT. So big games coming up. Definitely next week, week 6, as we can take a look at their players. Really, I think the most interesting stat right there is probably their interceptions. D. Moore has 3 interceptions by himself, so we'll have to keep a lookout for him. As the rushing attack looks pretty non-existent, and our rushing attack is definitely very existent. 97 attempts by Roberts, man. We run the ball a lot compared to how much we throw the ball. 63 attempts only for Steve Jacobs. But he has 15 touchdowns out of the 49 completions. So he's doing something right. We're doing something right on offense. Next time, guys, we head into the Hoosiers, head into Indiana to take on the Hoosiers in our Week 6 matchup as we open up Big Ten Conference play. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.